Right, all right, all right. Joel Hawksley, David Washington. We are at the Oxford Sports Pub and Secret Society. We are. You can't make this shit up. With his campaign and reboot, a shitty and glitchy campaign launch, woke culture war is killing national polling numbers. Feeble attempts to out-MAGA Trump, the Ron DeSantis campaign is in disarray, disorder, and disbelief. Ron's recent woke battle with AB InBev, the owners of Bud Light, the parent company of Bud Light, authorized the State Board of Administration. The Florida State Board of Administration was ordered by Governor DeSantis to initiate a review of how AB InBev's conduct has impacted and continues to impact the value of SBA's AB InBev's holdings. Yeah, the state of Florida pensions hold AB InBev's stock.
Not anymore.
Ron, investigate your own behavior and the behavior of those individuals who supported the woke culture war against a Bud Light marketing campaign just to own the liberals. The buffoonery is spilling over, but not our beers. Let's get into it, Joe. Let's go.
Oh my God. Listen, I think it's incredible. I mean, you should look at every possible thing that we're invested in. And you should be this is a totally legitimate, fight. Like if we're helping, if we're putting the money forward in investments to make them prop them up with this campaign, oh, come on. This is horrible. This was horrible.
Ron DeSantis and folks like Ron DeSantis contributed to the price of the InBev stock to decline, and the AB InBev stock to decline, and now he wants to initiate an investigation as to why the stock declined. It was a terrible marketing decision by Bud Light. Terrible.
It was a disaster for Bud Light.
Right.
I mean, your audience, if you know who your audience is, why would you advertise to a totally different audience?
Right.
Like that was like dumb. I mean, you can't script it any. This is why this show is called You Can't Make This Shit Up.
Yes.
Look, I have a ballet. I want to sell it to. I'm sell it as a rock and roll concert. Like,
right.
I know who's going to come to the ballet, but I know the rockers ain't coming out.
I agree.
So it's like, just know your audience. And that's the first thing you always do is research. And these companies have been advertising for years.
Yes.
Look,
yes.
I know a Bud Light commercial versus a Budweiser commercial because the Clydesdale. There's only one in a Bud Light commercial.
Spuds McKenzie.
And the whole crew is there in a Bud Light a Budweiser commercial. So you get these things because they're branded.
Right.
But to go off the reservation and listen, I go to the bar.
Christ.
I went to the bar yesterday to say hi to people there. I haven't seen them in a while.
Right.
And I get there and I'm looking at the beer in the
freezer,
the fridge, and I'm like, there's a whole shelf of Bud Light.
Yes.
You would never have seen that before, but people are actually asking for something different right now.
It's discounted.
It's outdated. I mean, they're sending more back than they're actually bringing in now.
It just amazes me the moxie, the gall for DeSantis to investigate why the stock price went down, knowing damn well, and he's just feeding into this culture war. He is doubling, tripling down on this culture war Like it's done. The stock is down. We know why. Any individual who's been watching, I didn't drop that. Any individual who's been, vaguely watching this whole scenario would know that there was a pushback against the marketing scheme and the stock suffered. And unfortunately, Florida pensions suffered because they had AB InBev stock in its portfolio.
Yep, they shouldn't
Whoops.
maybe we shouldn't have had any of that
It's these
stuff.
bonehead decisions and the doubling, tripling down by DeSantis in his campaign that just makes me so frustrated. Like, damn it, do better. I mean, his whole stance on ESG, it makes money for the pensioners. Having ESG financial investments holdings was making money for the pensioners. But again, there's a war on that. And so Florida pensioners are not going to make the type of money they could be making on their investment. I don't, just to own the liberals. What's the end game here? What's the end game?
Hey,
Where's my beer?
This one almost makes it speechless. Like, you make it sound like logical with something that's not logical. But look, DeSantis is doing a lot of things right now. And I think our next segment really covers this because I can talk a lot more
Sure.
about this disaster. And you called it when it started. But things like this end up killing the candidacy
Yes.
of somebody who's bright. He should be, he should be like a rising star.
Right.
He's in second place, and he can't get his numbers up. And he's got the most money.
It had the most money.
This is Jeb Bush. This is Jeb Bush all over again, right?
Right.
It's
Scott
like
Walker.
all the money, it's all gone. You have to cut half your staff. Everybody that bragged about you're going to have a great campaign, but stuff like this. Why should we? Why would their stock go down? You know why their stock
damn
went
well
down.
no. It is so frustrating because I was looking forward to a very competitive Republican primary as a fan, as a admirer of politics. I was looking forward to Donald J. Trump being challenged by not just DeSantis, but Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, so forth and so on. Vivek, even.
He's interesting. Yeah.
And I felt a real threat by the Ron DeSantis campaign to the Democratic Party. And this and other missteps. I don't know if you could call it a misstep because this is purposeful. I think it's purposeful detonation of his campaign. I don't see any other way.
So, like I said, it might be repeating in the next one, but this is exactly, how do I put it? There was no planning. There was no organization. This is marketing to the wrong people. The same thing Budweiser, the same thing Bud Light did.
Yeah.
Look, if you looked at the election across the nation, Ron DeSantis, you won handily. But the rest of the nation, abortion was an issue. Woke is okay in California and all these other places. You're not getting any momentum because nobody's paying attention to Florida right now.
Right. And Florida's an outlier, especially in his election, because one, Ron DeSantis and the Republicans spent over $250 million to win that election. The Democrats, about 90 million. $250 million, 90 million. That's a big difference. Of course, you're going to win by 15, 20 points. when you pour that type of
David,
money into
that
an
wasn't money.
election, it was
That was
part of
Chris.
it. A good part of it was money, and
It was your.
and to get the majorities
It was your
that they did.
nomination.
Yes, yes. The nomination, the Democrats served up
Oh man,
rehashed Charlie Chris.
like
You had really no cohesive strategy. Your core voters, you presume to be your core voters, did not show up.
yeah, well, I like the fact.
Of course, you're gonna get a
So I
20
like the
point margin.
I like the fact that you couldn't separate the governor from the Supreme Court because it was like, okay, you going to get rid of some people in the court system that were nominated
Right.
by your candidate. It's like you couldn't separate that.
This is
It was horrible.
and I believe that DeSantis, his supporters, his campaign team, particularly in that pack, never back down, but really thought that this election in 2022 of Ron DeSantis anointed him the presidency.
Yeah.
I think also with Never Back Down, the super PAC supporting Ron DeSantis, I think it's just another autonomous entity that is promoting their brand of conservative politics and not necessarily Ron DeSantis.
No, I mean, listen,
He's just the name that's bringing in the money.
this is where I get on my soapbox. The media creates these monsters, right? And I say they create these monsters because they say the only one who can challenge Donald Trump, the only one who can challenge Donald Trump is, and gets everybody convinced that, okay, Ron DeSantis has to jump in this race now because everybody's looking to him because he's the only one who can beat Donald Trump. And guess what? He comes out, he can't get any momentum. He's got an oil leak of cash. And the further he drives, the more money goes out. Now he's got to cut his staff. Listen, it's a money game. That everybody out there, other than you and me, they're only taking candidates for the money. Like, I take a candidate because he's the right candidate.
Yep.
Look, I haven't made a decision in this primary, but I can guarantee you that the top two, they're just dead. Like, there's just no movement.
Right.
One's getting indicted and the other's like losing cash. And I'm a big Ron DeSantis fan. I mean, I like Ron DeSantis. I like what he tries to do to a point, and other than what I criticize, but this is screwy.
It's a dumpster fire that I was hoping not to see. I was hoping to see true competition, political competition. And maybe I'm taking it hard because of that fact. I put so much into seeing real debate, real competition, seeing that, President Biden pretty much will have the nomination because he is President Biden, and I'm a big fan of politics. And I'm very disappointed in the DeSantis campaign.
Well, I have a question for you. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Sure.
The question is, all the money that was given to DeSantis, if you were to redirect it, where would it be best redirected? You know the candidates.
To salvage the campaign?
No.
Oh.
Where should those dollars go? If those dollars could be transferred to a candidate that's in the race, who would probably spend them better, who would that be?
Who would that be? Believe it or not, Donald J. Trump.
Really?
Yes, sir. You want to know why?
Why would they put their dollars? If they put their dollars in as an anti-Trump thing, why would they send their dollars there?
I don't think DeSantis is the anti-Trump candidate. He is the Trump. He is further right than Trump.
He's the Trump alternative.
He's a Trump alternative, the younger, more
But
vicious version.
I believe
of
the money.
Trump.
But I believe the money that was given to DeSantis is anti-Trump.
See, I think differently because his policies are so far to the right of even Trump. And I believe that that money going to Trump is just a vindication that Trump has always been the nominee, will continue to be the nominee until he says he's not. And you have to look as a conservative. You do have to look as a conservative. When you look past the buffoonery, as a conservative, Trump delivered. Supreme Court, tax cut.
Oh, I'm not going to say
That's
he didn't.
regulation.
I'm not going to say he didn't, but
And if they hammer those points, he becomes a difficult man to defeat.
I agree with that, but I'm saying
You asked me where would I put the money?
where would you put the? But I'm talking about the person that wrote that check
Mhm.
to DeSantis.
Mhm.
Most likely does not want Trump to be the nominee.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why I'm talking the way I'm talking. I'm saying those dollars, if they were given to DeSantis because he's supposed to beat Trump, who's the next one who could beat Trump or even be competitive against Trump?
When you put it that way, I would invest that money in Jay in Washington. You're political innovators.
Yeah, because we'd actually get you elected.
I just can't. I can't look at the other candidates and say, okay, this person will get the job done. This person will make a great nominee. This person, I have faith in their campaign. This person moves me. Not one. Not one.
Well, I mean, the thing I like about politics and in the primary is you get to see all the different personalities.
Sure.
And I like pretty much everybody that's in this race. And it's hard not to like, I can't say his name, but he can't be president with a name like Vivek.
Yeah, don't ask me how to pronounce his last name.
I like him. I think he's young. I think he's talented. I think he's aggressive. I think that's a good sign. But can he come up to the level that there's actual competition? No, I think Trump takes this thing with.
I agree.
You get to Iowa, you get to New Hampshire, you get to South Carolina. After South Carolina, you have no Tim Scott, you have no Nikki Haley because they couldn't win their own state. Look, it's going to listen. I love these people,
right?
I think they're all incredible people. But when it comes to the end of the day, this is Donald Trump's party right now.
Yes, it is.
And unless, God forbid, unless he dies, and he can't run, even if he died, he'd still win.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
If he's in jail, if he's dead, or whatever,
if he was in jail, he could win.
Yeah.
Look, this is his to lose, and DeSantis just got schooled in political. Hey, don't trust those people around you unless you're sitting in. They have a plan. They should have told you who your audience was going to be, what you were targeting, where you were going to go, because you certainly didn't get off on a good X start.
That's true.
X marks the spot, and that's where it started.
Yep, that is very true.
Thanks, Elon. Well, I'm done with this one because I think if you're not drinking Bud Light, tell the governor that's why the stock's not up.
Agreed. We're done. Comment, share, like, hit the notification button. Let us know what you think, not what you feel.
Love it.
Go on.